Hi all, welcome to the session on SAP ABAP Webdynpro. Basically, SAP ABAP Webdynpro is used to develop enterprise web applications that follows MVC architecture. MVC architecture is Model View Controller, well-known architecture to build enterprise applications. I'll be developing one simple Webdynpro application, custom one, to experience how to develop one Webdynpro component and one application on the top of the component. Later on, we'll understand the significance of each component and what are the standard methods, other details. The transaction code to create one Webdynpro component is SE80. In SE80, you'll be creating Webdynpro component. For before creating application, we'll be creating the component. Let me give the name of the component. Give a component name. I'm going to store this in local object. Let me save. Component is created. Whenever a component is created, in the left side, you can see different options. So this is called component. If you double click, you'll get to know component. And you can see there's a component controller, component interface, views, and windows. Basically, views are the presentation component where you'll be able to interact with the application, like getting the values or changing some values to be saved in the database. Let me go to view and let me write something or add some UI element to it to test it. Click on change root UI element container. So in the layout section, we'll be designing the layout and the root UI element, insert the element. For simplicity, I'll be showing some text. You give any name to it. I'll say welcome text. I can choose something text view because I'm just going to show some static text for time being. For each UI element you add, there is a property window where we'll be adding or changing some of the properties. Like you want to show it or not, enable, disable, alignment, horizontal alignment, vertical alignment, text direction, tooltip. Like if you hover mouse on the UI element, what you want to see, there are a lot of information. For us now, for this session, we need to understand whenever we add one UI element and select it, there are different properties we can change. The text property is like what a value that you want to show, what text, because the UI element is a text view element. Its objective is to view some text, and what exactly you are going to view, I'll hard code for the time being. Later on in subsequent sessions, we learn how to dynamically populate these values through binding. I've done it. Let me save. So in the UI element, I added only one element, text welcome. Let's activate. You can see the text. Now I have changed the layout of the view. I have to activate the component now. Right click on the component, click on active. My component is active. The first step is go to SE80, create a component. Whatever the design you want to change, you can change in the layout. Then once the component is active, we'll be creating applications on the top of the component. Create Webdynpro application. So this application is nothing but will be an URL with the component details. You can see our component is ZSK underscore WD underscore comp1. You can see this component. So whenever we created an application, it is generated an URL with host, port, and the path where our service is available. Let me test my service. You can come here, right click and test, or you can take the URL, go to the browser and paste that URL. You can see the output. So this is very simple way of explaining and experiencing what is Webdynpro, how we create one component, how we create an application on the top of the component once the component is active, and where we actually change the design, the layout. Other things basically for the coding purpose. Windows is another component controller where what we have, one window can have multiple views. So in window, we'll be embedding views. Next session, we'll learn about having multiple views and communicating between them. We'll have view 1, view 2. View 1 will be sending some data to view 2, and view 2 also should be sending some data to view 1. We will be embedding both views in window. That's all, the basics of Webdynpro, experiencing it. Thank you all.